Yes, so I tried to ask to find out the the reason why we as different races have different shapes of noses. I already know it, but I'm trying to explain it to many people. So I asked ChatGPT to find out for me. So I said ChatGPT nose shape and calcification connection because I know that it's about calcium adaptation and all that, but I couldn't really, put it into proper details. So let's ChatGPT do it for me because I'm more into the big picture. This will explain more of the smaller picture, the details. So I'm asking ChatGPT connect nose shape and calcification, and ChatGPT says this. Listen.
There is no direct or common connection between nose shape and calcification in general medical literature. Let's break this down to address possible interpretations. 1. Nose shape and bone structure. The shape of the nose is primarily determined by bone, cartilage, soft tissue, and genetics. The nasal bones and cartilage, septal and alar, shape the nose. Variations in nasal shape can be congenital, ethnic, traumatic, or surgical. Have 2. Calcification. What and where? Calcification means abnormal or excessive calcium deposits in soft tissues. In the nasal region, calcification can occur in A. Nasal cartilage or soft tissue. Rare, but can occur due to chronic inflammation, e.g., from infections or trauma, autoimmune diseases, aging, tumors, e.g., chondrosarcoma, a cartilage tumor that may calcify, rhinoscleroma, a chronic infection that can cause hardening and deformation. B. Sinonasal mass.
The point is that I got tired of ChatGPT just explaining the wrong things. Well, it was not the wrong thing. It was saying to summary that there's no normal or direct connection between nose shape and calcification, but certain diseases, tumors, or chronic inflammation conditions can lead to both nasal deformity and calcification. I was like, yeah, that's not what I asked you. Then I asked it again. Link with adaptational, so this is my words exactly, link with adaptational epigenetics, and this is what I got as a response instead. You have to tell it AI what to do. They don't know. They look like they're trying to hide the truth, but listen, when you direct this, like, you'll do what you tell it. I mean, that's why you're human boss. So yeah, link with adaptational epigenetics. Adaptational epigenetics. So adaptational epigenetics, it means basically, well, ChatGPT explains. Go on, say your thing.
Linking nose shape, calcification, and adaptational epigenetics is a complex topic that touches on developmental biology, environmental adaptation, and gene regulation. While there's no direct, widely accepted single link between the three, we can make meaningful connections by examining how epigenetics influences craniofacial development and tissue changes, such as calcification. 1. Adaptational epigenetics. The basics. Epigenetics refers to heritable changes in gene expression that don't involve changes to the DNA sequence. These changes are often responses to environmental factors like nutrition, altitude, temperature, toxins or pathogens, mechanical stress or injury.
So temperature one is the one I'm specifying on, where the things change because of temperature. And I'm going to show you the difference between the calcified noses of other races and Africans and different Asian noses. It's all about adaptation to where we are going and where we are coming from, all that. So the body changes. So that's when it says temperature. Yeah.
Adaptational epigenetics refers to how organisms adjust to environmental conditions over generations via these genetic changes. 2. Nose shape and epigenetic adaptation. Nose shape has evolved adaptively in human populations based on environmental factors, and epigenetics may mediate these changes.
So nose, they say nose shape has evolved adaptively, means it's changed to adapt, changed to adapt to environment. So it's adapting, depends on the environment that you're adapting to. Your nose will be shaped in that way, and epigenetics may mediate these change. Epigenetics, which is the way the genes change to help you adapt to certain environment, new or old, is what epigenetics is. So they say epigenetics may mediate in this, so it helps to mediate, adjust, titrate, control this process genetically. Just continue to listen.
Environmental factor adaptive nose shape, possible epigenetic mechanism. Nose shape has evolved cold, dry climates, narrow, high noses to warm, humidify air.
You hear that? So we'll look at the we're looking at the list now, which I'll share. A list. This list, you can see that environmental factors, adaptive nose shape, which is it has three parts. This list: environmental factors. What environmental factors? Cold, hot, cold, dry climate, hot, humid climate, adaptive nose shape. What shape they are, the possible epigenetic mechanisms. So we'll go through them now. So that's this GPT chat.
Epigenetic control of craniofacial genes, e.g., PAX3, FGFR2, hot, humid climates, wide, flat noses, better heat exchange, DNA methylation affecting nasal cartilage development. Studies have found epigenetic modification.
Do you hear the cold, dry climates? The adaptive nose shape will be narrow, high noses humidify, to warm and humidify air. Possible epigenetic mechanism: epigenetic control of craniofacial genes, e.g., PAX3, FGFR2. These are genes that control the craniofacial, the bones of the face, the development, so that this can be changed through adaptation. That's how we have different shapes of noses. And in the hot, humid climates, we have wide, flat noses, better heat exchange. Wide, flat, the air is cool, it's not being cool, it's cooler when it gets to the brain and the body. But when you have the narrow noses, it's warmer, and it gets more humid. And in those hot places, humidity is higher because everything's boiling. There's lots of moisture in the air. So a possible epigenetic mechanism is the DNA methylation affecting nasal cartilage development. DNA methylation affecting nasal cartilage development. Flatter nose is not something about the bones, now about the cartilage changing to become more expanded so that you get more air, cooler temperature. The amount of air your whole body needs doesn't really matter from your nose, but the temperature, that's what matters, not the amount. Not because you have bigger nose, it means your lungs are bigger. Your lungs could be small. So the temperature has to be a certain amount that keeps your body, be regulating your body temperature. Let's let ChatGPT continue.
Mutations, e.g., methylation patterns, in genes involved in bone growth, cartilage formation, and craniofacial development that may vary by environment. Developmental plasticity, the ability of one genotype to produce multiple phenotypes, is often mediated by epigenetic regulation. Calcification and epigenetics. Pathological calcification in soft tissues like the nose can also be influenced by epigenetic regulation. Epigenetic changes can affect expression of genes like RUNX2, bone development, BMP2, bone morphogenetic protein, MGP, matrix GLA protein, which prevents soft tissue calcification, chronic inflammation, trauma, or metabolic changes, which are often influenced by lifestyle or environment, can trigger epigenetic switches that promote ectopic calcification. For example, air pollution or infections, chronic inflammation, epigenetic changes, altered expression of calcification-related genes, tissue calcification. Bridging all three, a hypothetical epigenetic model. Let's say a population lives in a cold, dry, high-altitude region. 1. Environmental pressure selects for narrow noses for better air warming. 2. Over generations, epigenetic changes in craniofacial development genes become stable, transgenerational epigenetic inheritance. 3. At the same time, chronic exposure to dust or respiratory infections may lead to local tissue damage, with epigenetic reprogramming promoting nasal cartilage calcification in older individuals. 4. Result: a population trend where both nasal shape and soft tissue remodeling, including calcification, may reflect epigenetically mediated adaptation and response to local stressors. Summary feature: connection via epigenetics. Nose shape: epigenetic control of craniofacial development in response to environment. Calcification: epigenetic regulation of bone cartilage tissue remodeling genes in response to inflammation or stress. Link between both: environmental stresses affecting both nasal development and tissue homeostasis via shared epigenetic pathways. If you're interested, I can provide specific gene examples, diagrams of the epigenetic pathways, a deeper dive into population studies linking facial morphology with epigenetic markers.
Mm, thank you. That was ChatGPT giving us a brief there. I hope you guys understood the whole lingua they were using. I did tell it to dive deeper, but for today, this is the topic. This is basically saying if you understood what it said, basically, uh, nose shapes. Noses are shaped based on where they're adapted to. Colder regions have slimmer noses, and hotter regions have wider noses. I hope that's helped you answered your question. Thank you. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to ask. This is my questions answering channel.